not died down. But I'm still a little peeved over a few things. And I'm one of the naysayers and one of the persons whom some people may call prudish when it comes to our carnival celebrations. But this evening, we won't deal too much on that. We won't dwell too much on that because I have as my special guest. Uh, I know we've just started, but we have to take a break because of due to technical difficulties. So stand by. We will be back shortly. Hi, thank you for staying tuned, and we're right back where we started. Sometimes these things happen. These things happen. But we're back. And as I was saying before we went on this short break, some people might call me a little bit of a prude when they hear me speak about my displeasure with all of the nudity. And it's not so much the nudity, don't get me wrong. It's not so much the nudity, but the behavior of some people and the near mishaps that I observed. And last week, Rick was speaking with Father Clovis, and he showed a footage, and he was saying, notice how people weren't really watching, and we're making a big uproar about nothing. We're making a mount. And I remember remarking that people were not watching because obviously somebody was watching. At least one person was watching. They made a video. But just imagine you're on TV, you're in light of somebody recording you or public television. You don't want persons to see you actually leering and watching the sodomy that was taking place. And I say that, and I know that's a strong word for some of you, for those of you who know the word, for those of you who don't, Google it, that was taking place. But who wants people to notice that they're doing that? So if it were me, I would probably walk away from the line of footage but wait a minute. I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. I would not walk away. I probably think I would want to stop it, pop in and say, excuse me, I think the behavior is a little bit much. Get a room or something. I think I would do that. I think if I know myself well enough, if I'm being honest with myself, I know some of my friends who would have been with me, my loved ones would be like, oh my gosh, here we go again. She's going to get herself shot at one point. But I really don't care because all I would be thinking about are those little kids who are watching. And I know some of you might say, well, keep your kids home. This is supposed to be, or is touted to be, the largest cultural showcase in St. Lucia. It's the culture. So if it is the culture, why don't we want our children viewing the culture? But obviously, it's not fit for children to view because unless, I'm dating myself here, I remember growing up, my parents didn't allow us to just watch any movie on television as kids. They had to vet the movies first. So if they've never seen it before, you can't be watching it. So in my days, there was this little gadget called videotaping. So we watched a lot of movies on video cassette. We didn't watch a lot of movies on TV. And there wasn't really that many movies being played on TV. But the point of the matter, what I'm driving at is our movies were always vetted before we watched them. And the reason for that? Sometimes they slip in this love scene that's really not necessary. All of a sudden, the hero is kissing on the damsel in this in despair or in distress, and clothes are coming off, nude scenes just out of the blue. So they wanted to make sure that when we were exposed to that kind of thing, that we were ready, that our minds and our psyche, our bodies were developed enough to handle it. And they introduced those things to us in a timely fashion. They wanted to make sure that as adolescents or as young teenagers, we were able, our minds were mature enough to handle it, so they were able to, segue into sexuality with us. But when you're taking your children out to view the largest cultural showcase on island, and boom, it's an X-rated blues live being depicted on the streets, what do you do? What do you do? So we're not being prudes when we say there's supposed to be some sort of policy, there's supposed to be some sort of policing. Then people tell me about Brazil and Trinidad and all of that, and then there's all this nudity in the streets and whatever. Excuse me. Mind I remind you that these countries, their population far exceeds ours, their resources far exceeds ours, and so with the little resources that we have, we've got to make sure that our citizens are safe. Mind you, these are the very same people, for political expediency or whatever, they will tell you we have no hospitals in St. Lucia. So now you have these girls splitting in the middle on these ledges, the medians on the highway, splitting on these things, missing falls, literally splitting in the middle. And there are no hospitals to go to care for them. So what are we saying? It's okay in the name of bacchanal and culture to put ourselves at risk, but it's not okay when all the furor is done and all the bacchanal is over and all of the glitz and the glamour. I can't even begin. I'm saying this, I can't believe I'm saying it with a straight face, because there's no glitz, there's no glamour in Carnival right now. And I know people are saying, oh, well, we're moving on with the times and not everybody wants feathers and all of that. But what really is our culture? Is it debauchery? What exactly? Is it depravity? What exactly are we saying that our culture is? Can somebody please define what our culture is? Now, I'll tell you one of the things that I enjoy. This thing that they use with the tape, and you're really naked, but you can't really tell that you're naked because you have all this tape in strategic places. And I don't have a problem with that. I really, really don't have a problem, but because you could do it in such a way that it's decent and it's artsy. But when you have these women with these gigantic, colossal behinds that panties can hardly hold, and they're bare, just doing all sorts of things, and you have men just grabbing onto them and, like my grandfather would say, tearing their faces up in there, you ask yourself, what the heck? What the heck? And then people will tell you, oh, that was just one incident. Let me tell you something that my dad always says to us. When you see a roach in your house, that doesn't mean that you only have one roach. It is the one that you've seen. So one person was caught on tape. That does not mean that was the only one. Not at all. Not at all. So I don't really want to go into all of that, except to say I was disappointed, and I am disappointed year in and year out. Really, really disappointed. Really disappointed. I mean, some of the costumes were really nice. I must say the colors were vibrant. The feathers, I love it. But all that splitting in the middle and all of that, make your tutuash jiggle, all of that, I don't have a problem if that's what floats your boat. But my God, think about it. Most of these girls, most of these men, they've got kids. And I say girls and I say men because, I'm using it very loosely. They've got kids. Your kids are watching that. Then they have to go home, and when they do something, then you want to have to discipline them, and they're saying like, well, you can't really discipline me because mommy, carnival time rolls around and you're just, splaying it all out there for any Dick, Tom, and Harry. Or daddy, you're just in everybody's bum. So what's the big deal? Why can't I do it? Anyway, so still on the tack of what has disappointed me in the past few weeks, it's the Taiwanese visit, the Taiwanese president's visit. And let me tell you, sometimes I swear our politicians really take us for fools, and they really think that we're, I don't know. So anyway, the opposition has accused the current administration of misuse and abuse of official development assistance from Taiwan, and that they are saying that Taiwan is being abused. Taiwan is, the president is being taken for a ride. And I'm thinking to myself, you would think that the president of Taiwan is a reasonably intelligent woman, and she is reasonably discerning. After all, she has attained the highest office in her country, that of president. And you would like to think that the sword turning ceremony that been made about was discussed with the president before. And you would like to think that the president has a tongue in her mouth and a brain in her head to say, no, I will not be used like this. I will not be touted about like this, when really and truly I am not in favor of this. You know, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot that has been said. I mean, one of the things that Philip JPS says, and I quote, it is blood-curdling to note that the Alan Shastney-led administration has treated as sunk cost the tens of millions of dollars invested by the Republic of China on Taiwan in the rehabilitation of the St. Jude Hospital, which was nearing completion when this wicked and uncaring administration took over the levers of power on June 6, 2016. So you mean to tell me that the 20 million and the 22 million over there and the 1.7 million over there that Taiwan has sunk in, Taiwan has not realized that the money has not been used properly, and that they would be willing to contribute a further 20 or 22 million dollars to further this project. I mean, how stupid does the president of Taiwan have to be? Her entire administration, how stupid do they have to be? To me, to my mind, the question that needs to be asked is not whether Alan Shastney and his administration is using Taiwan or abusing Taiwan, but rather, what is in it for Taiwan? Why would Taiwan not only fund the St. Jude Hospital, but the abattoir? They've invested heavily in agro-processing. They have invested heavily in meat production, meat processing. They have invested heavily in agriculture. We were supposed to be exporting orchids at this point. We're not. We're supposed to be this great, by some pundits, this great world exporter of orchids. We're not. We're supposed to be this freshwater fish is supposed to be revolutionary in St. Lucia. We're not. And all of those things Taiwan has invested in. So the question uppermost in my mind is, what is in it for Taiwan? To continue to aid St. Lucia, to continue to allow St. Lucia to benefit from the largesse. What is in it? What have they benefited? What are they going to benefit? What is there to benefit? That is the question that is uppermost in my mind. What is it that Taiwan is benefiting from St. Lucia to encourage them to invest so heavily? So it's not a matter of whether the Alan Shastney administration being so bright and so devious that the machinations at work is so powerful that Taiwan is blinded. I don't think so. I think that is the greater insult to the intelligence of the president of Taiwan and the people of Taiwan. I think that is the greatest insult. The question that the opposition should be asking, and every well-meaning St. Lucian should be asking, is what is in it for Taiwan? I don't see any difference in the support that Taiwan is giving to St. Lucia. as in the support that Venezuela has given to St. Lucia. So Venezuela has invested in our education. Taiwan has done the same. So while we're saying that it is an insult to Taiwan, that we're insulting Taiwan, why is it that we're not insulting Venezuela? Or why is it an affront to our people to accept aid from Venezuela when Venezuela is so obviously in distress? Obviously, there are foreign policies and foreign benefits to be had from those sorts of relationships. And if the opposition, who has been in power, who were in power the last 5 years previous, if they are unaware of what those relationships are and what the benefits are, then we should be asking them, why were they aligned to China or to Taiwan or to Venezuela or to any of their allies? That is the greater question. I am appalled. I know that Taiwan has given us a lot of money. Grant money, monies that we don't get to pay back, monies that we have hardly seen what was on both sides of the fence, what was done with the monies. So my question is, what is in it for Taiwan? And that should be the question on the lips of every well-meaning St. Lucian. What is in it for Taiwan that they would continue to support St. Lucia or continue to allow St. Lucia to benefit from their largesse? That should be the question. So, leaving Taiwan and staying home, we've had 6 in one. And I mean, 6 shootings or killings in one weekend. And that is a little worrying. And I know some of us are so desensitized. It's like, wow, another 6 people shot, another 6 people dead, another 6 men gone. But really and truly, we have to get this violence under control. And in reading the papers this weekend, I noticed in one of the papers, was it this weekend or was it on Tuesday, that there was an unveiling of crime strategy. And I read the article, and honestly, I don't know what the strategy was. They didn't say what the strategy was, or the strategies were, or the strategies are going to be, except to say that they did some surveys in Labrie, Foisson, and some other areas, and that the results will be out soon. So what are they launching and what are they unveiling? What are the strategies? So again, I ask the question, is it yet another talk shop? Is it yet another set of money that have been invested into finding strategies for crime and nothing is coming of it? What exactly are we doing? We keep having these symposiums, we keep having those fora, and nothing is coming of it. And we're having these write-ups in the papers and these articles in the news, and nothing. Nothing. Anyway, another week in, another week out, more of the same different day, if you know what I mean. However, on a lighter or on a better note, somewhat semi-better note, I have in studio with me 2 special guests, young men, and you know how young people really float my boat. I do everything to forward the youth and to encourage them in positive behavior and positive endeavors. So we're due for a break, but when we come back, is PAN alive and well in St. Lucia, or is it slowly dying? Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Good evening and welcome back to What's Happening Now with Laura. Thank you for staying tuned. In studio with me, I'm just going to dive right in and introduce my guests. With me in studio are two members of the Labri Steel Pan Project. I know I'm not saying that right, but they will correct me and they will give you the correct name. In Joshua Roy. And Joshua, you're the captain. And we have Vic Shiko. Now, I stopped on Vic because I say Nick and I say Rick and I don't know. So I got it right, Vic Shiko. And Vic, you are? The drummer of the... So tell us what the actual name of your side is.
Well, our name now, ever since a couple months back, officially is Caribbean Grains Labri Steel Pan.
Right. Okay, so why the move? Because you guys were previously sponsored by Will Rock, which is another local Labri company. But now this year you're Caribbean Grains. Why the move?
Well, at the time, Will Rock came to us. Will Rock has been with us from inception, and they have been spectacular in a sense that from launching us from where we were before to the band that we have become in 2019. And in 2019, they came to us and said, look, it's a bit of a rough time right now, and they said they would like to continue to go on with the band, but at this point they just can't. And we said thank you very much, Will Rock. We were very thankful to them, and it was a bit scary for us because we were about to undertake yet another panorama competition. We were like, okay, how are we going to pull this off without a sponsor now? But then thankfully, Caribbean Grains came on board, and the general manager, Arno Demusak, I think I'm saying this correctly, I hope.
I'm not even going to help you there because my pronunciation is horrible in foreign languages, so yeah.
Yeah, but Arno, if we're speaking colloquially, Arno came to us and he said, look, he's interested and he wants to get on board.
How did he get to know about you guys?
Actually, we performed at the Yacht Club. I don't know if you heard about that performance that we performed. We did at the Yacht Club in Grosile, and he was one of the patrons who came to the event. It was a concert along with our St. Lucia School of Music. And Arno said he was absolutely blown away. Not trying to blow our own trumpet here, but he said...
You have to. If you don't, who else is going to do it for you?
Arno told me, he came to me and he said, look, he was just absolutely blown away by these young people. And he said he's not somebody who is so much musically inclined. But what resonated with him, he said, was the demeanor of the players of the band and the love that he could see just among us and how we would interact with each other and how we were so, coherent playing together. That was amazing to him. Probably if I was looking from the outside, I would understand, but I am yet to understand why he was so amazed.
But it is fantastic because, Joshua, every member of the band, I probably carried as a baby when I'm dating myself here, or was, from kids. And you have a very young side, and every year your young side is getting bigger and bigger. And just recently, we'll talk about that a little bit later on, you actually launched a junior side, right? It is, so I know you guys. We're from the same community. I know you guys, and it is amazing to see all of these children, all of these young people come together of various ages. Because I think your youngest is the age difference from your youngest to your oldest is wide, and you guys still have this camaraderie, and you look out for each other. And it's like a big brother, big sister, little brother, little sister kind of effect. So it is a family, and which is something that you don't really get in groups nowadays. The group dynamic is really, really positive. So you may not see it because you grew up in it, and it's like commonplace for you. It's like no big deal. But for somebody on the outside who has had other experiences, it's a magnificent thing to see. Just the camaraderie amongst you outside of the playing, because you guys do other things together, and you guys look out for each other outside of playing band. So that's why it's amazing. So you will not see it because you grew up in it, and it's not, it's commonplace. It's not anything different, but yeah. So you guys placed second again this year.
Yeah.
Third time running.
Yeah.
Well, this is why I really like you guys. positivity. Like for some of us, including myself, it's like, wow, Calypso Jail. And that was your song,
Yes.
Calypso Jail.
Calypso Jail.
It's like, wow, third time running, man. But then I like what you just said, Vic. At least you're consistent. You're not slipping down, but you're consistently there. So that means you have attained a level and you're able to maintain that. But really, how was it for you? Because you guys came out. Tell us about the experience of Panorama. Vic, let me hear a little bit from Vic as the drummer, because you know in any band, if the drummer is whack, the music is whack.
Hey.
Right. So tell us what that was. First of all, Vic, tell us how you got into drumming.
Wow. Okay, well, I got into drumming. It all started back in 2005 or 6. We entered the St. Lucia School of Music, and yeah, as the younger sibling, well, consider Joshua my brother. He chose drums, and I wanted to be together.
You wanted to be like your big brother.
So I chose drums together with him, and from then on, I really loved the drums. I couldn't get away from it.
Vic, hold on. I didn't know you played drums.
Yeah, I started off at the School of Music playing drums.
But I know you as a guitarist.
Yeah, and somewhere along the lines, I figured, well, you know, I mean, my life. One of my dreams was to have a family band, and I had one of my older cousins playing keyboard, and he had 2 drummers. I was like, you know, probably I challenged myself and trying guitar.
All right. So family is big for you, and you're an only child.
Only child.
Yeah. So family is big for you. I mean, so you have other brothers like Vic.
Of course.
Yeah, but just not like say mom. You guys have this. Your moms are sisters,
Yeah.
right? So family is big for you. So
Definitely.
and that's so, that warms the cockles of my heart, because to know that young people place such emphasis on family in today's world, that's very rare. So Vic, you were saying, so you wanted to be like Joshua, and so you chose drumming, but you stuck with it and he didn't. Were you a better drummer? Is that the real reason why he dropped out of drumming?
To be honest, I mean, you would understand the theory better than me. Like, drums has theory. You have to read the music for the...
There's music? I mean, like you read music for drumming?
Well, yeah, it's the same stuff, the same lines, but then on the different spaces you have the various drums. You have the snare, you have your first thumb, your second thumb, your floor thumb, your cymbals, your hi-hat. It will even tell you when to open and close the hi-hat. Yeah, so it's...
I never thought drumming. I never thought of drumming like that. I thought they're just drums, and you have a good ear for rhythm, and you're keeping the rhythm, and you're setting the
that's
tone.
If you go into the theory and all
Right.
that, yeah.
Right.
But if you just practical, I mean, you just learn the different bits and stuff. Yeah.
Right. So that's how you got into drumming,
Basically,
right?
Yeah,
And then you segued into pan. Like,
Yeah,
how did that work out?
together, that's when the pan group just started. They brought in some of the students from School of Music, I feel, Joshua and I. And from then on, we just stayed there, learned. I mean, I tried to learn the tenor pan, but it just didn't go with me at that time. I think I was too short and I just didn't understand.
But it's funny you should say that, because your little brother plays,
He plays tenor.
and he's tiny.
Yeah.
I don't really remember you being that tiny, and he plays well.
I mean, now they have adjustable stands.
Ah, I get you.
Back in the day,
You
we
didn't
just
have
had-
that, so
yeah.
it was kind of, the pan is bigger than you.
I had to get a stool to try and play it. Yeah.
Right.
And from then on, I mean, I stayed around. We had a drummer, Mark Lee. I don't know if anyone knows him. But I really learned a lot from him. He was a talented drummer, I can say. And I mean, the drum, it just has something in it. It just pulled me towards it, and I just wanted to become the best drummer there could be. And
But you're not giving anybody else a chance to drum.
yes, I do it.
Yeah, you do? Because I only ever see you at the drum.
Before,
I don't see anybody
before
else.
we had, let me see, I think we had 5 drummers at LSP
Really?
at one point in time. Yeah.
So what happened to the other drummers?
I mean, they gravitated towards pan.
Ah,
Yeah, so
but you stuck.
I stuck with the drum.
I understand that, because when you get that love and
Yeah.
that thing that really moves you, you just gravitate towards that, and you just
Yeah.
stay there, and
mean-
I mean, what else is
Yeah,
there?
5 drummers. I mean, it's 5 drummers.
Exactly, and I mean, the best drummer.
Not really.
Survive? Not really. Are you being? Is he being modest, or is it really like he's that good?
I think he is, because, I mean, over the years we've been part of LSP from inception inception in 2005 to 2019. So you're talking about young men who aren't even 20 years of age yet, having like 14 plus years of experience under their belt.
Right.
So I mean, I think he's been a bit modest because coming from where we started to now, I mean, we haven't gotten to that point where we can say, okay, we can sit back and say, yes, we've made it.
Yeah.
But
you're still
come a
young,
long
like
way.
very young.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that amazes me, St. Lucia, is that they're still pretty young, like they're very, very young, but they're accomplished. Like Joshua was saying, they've got 14 years experience under their belt. Like who does that under the age of 20? I mean, that's amazing. So Josh, are you guys any closer to realizing your dream of having a family band?
I think so.
I mean,
Yeah.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
My brother is the most versatile one. I mean, he plays tenor, and he actually learned the drums from watching me.
Wow.
Yeah, just from watching, and he's actually good.
Yeah.
He's actually learning piano at School of Music.
Wow. So he is.
Sings
He's
calypso.
he sings
Yeah,
calypso.
like I know that, and he's so. And think about it. You really should have brought
Nathan.
Nathan. I mean, he's so tiny. How old is Nathan now?
He just turned 12.
Oh my! Nathan looks 8. Okay, he looks like maybe 8 years old, and I'm being generous here. And he's amazing. Like he really is. When you see him behind, like I remember this year. I'm coming to when I got into the grounds panorama. There's this lady who always comes. She said to me, "Is the little boy playing?" And she was referring to Nathan. I'm like, he's not that little anymore. I mean, he's still little, but he's he's growing up. But yeah, and people actually look forward to Nathan because he's so tiny behind those pans and he plays so energetically, right? So that was how you got into pan and drumming, yeah. I think you guys won 1 year,
In 2016.
2016, and since then it's been second place.
Yes.
Since then, 3 years now.
Like that's kind of deflating a little bit, you think?
Deflating, I wouldn't say, because I mean from 2016, 2017, 2018, even this year, my players, I could tell you, usually you find young people, especially young kids, you can find that sometimes they tend to be a bit rash with their emotions. So, I mean, coming off a victory, they don't want to lose.
Right.
They want to come into 2017 bigger and better, and of course, not expecting to place second. All right, but I could say, even after, I wouldn't even say that defeat, but even after not winning in 2017 and second place, I was amazed, by the level of energy that they still kept, the level of momentum that they still maintained up until this year. I mean, talking about kids, the youngest we probably had this year must have been about 12, about 12. You're talking about 12-year-old kids.
No. Kian is.
Yeah, probably younger.
Yeah.
So
Probably
probably about 9.
10.
Yeah, you understand.
Wow.
So you're talking about 9-year-old kids competing with veterans in
Yes,
steel bands.
that's the other thing. And I remember my mom saying she was so disappointed because she stayed up and watched, and she couldn't come, but she watched. And she's like, "Oh, these men, they're so old, they have no hair." Like she was so mad, and that amazes me because you've never changed your side to include or to only have more seasoned players just to win. So it's not about the expediency, it's about the experience, it's about the exposure for the younger ones.
Of course, and I mean, not trying not to blow our own trumpet, but I don't know. For the life of me, I don't understand how we managed to pull it off. But I can count at least 3 players that we actually took this year who had never played steel pan before. Never in their lifetime had they ever.
And they
held a
competed
pair.
in
And
Panorama.
they played with us in Panorama. Some of them played frontline.
Wow.
And they were one of the best players in the
Exactly.
So there's hope for me, so I can come
why
and,
not?
and
Yes,
knock a
of
pan or
course.
something.
It's
Yeah,
just
right.
a number.
This year, I last year I felt you guys didn't play necessarily to the best of your abilities last year. I knew that it was going to be a second place last year when Babano played, and I mean, there was something a little amiss. You guys played fantastic last year.
there's
There was
something
something a little amiss. But this year, I will admit, listening to you, I try not to listen to you guys, but it's very difficult not to listen to you guys because you guys are playing in the heart of Labrie, and we're often in the heart of Labrie, and then even when I go home, I can still hear you guys. So it's very difficult not to hear, but I try not to listen, and the reason I try not to listen is because I like that wow effect when I come to Panorama, and to hear you guys, the arrangement all put together, and the wow effect. I look for that. I love surprises. I love that the drama. I mean, I'm a dramatic person, but I love the drama and all of that. How you guys come out, what you're wearing, your intro, and all of that.
Choreography and
All of that. I always try to not listen so that I get that wow effect. And I must admit, this year I was a little worried because I wasn't hearing it coming together. In as much as I was trying not to listen, the fact that I wasn't hearing it coming together, I found myself listening even more. I think this year was the only year I listened to you guys practice. And I said, oh my God, what are they doing? What are they playing? I know what you're playing, but it's just, the arrangement is not coming together. So I was floored when I came in and you guys, everything, the intro, I mean, the song, tell us about it. Let the people at home who didn't get to see, who didn't attend, who didn't get to watch it on TV, let them know what the whole setup was.
Wow, Panorama. Preparation for Panorama is, can't even put it into words. It was very challenging at times, very exciting at times. I mean, with such a great arrangement, you have to be excited. But, sometimes players can be, well, we are humans, so humans will be humans. So you find players be difficult sometimes. Time to get notes is a hassle. Some players are playing while trying to get notes, and then sometimes spend the whole night trying to take at least 30 seconds of music.
Wow.
Yeah.
That grueling. And you think, I am going to come to a Panyat and knock pan together and get it right? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so it's, closer to the Panorama date, we found out more players came in. And I can tell you, from my perspective, I really like to see that. And as the drummer, I really get excited on the drums, And I could have seen us as champions. With all the enthusiasm the kids had, especially the 2 nights before Panorama, they really showed the effort for Panorama. And things happen.
Yeah. And I like the fact that you said about with such a great arrangement, and it would be remiss of us not to mention Andreas.
For sure.
Andreas, I am floored. My sister asks me all the time, how is it that Andreas is so young, but his arrangements are always of a level beyond his years. A testament this year. This arrangement this year kept going and going. It was like an Energizer bunny. And I thought, okay, I'm a sugar rush. I'm at the highest level. I can't take any more. It was like, whoa, another level and yet another level. And I think that was what was most disappointing for your supporters, is that the arrangement was so awesome.
Exactly. There's something called a drummer's high, and trust me, I got it. Every time I played the song, I got it. I would get lost, and I would just be feeling the music. Sometimes my eyes would be closed, and then I'll just be seeing the whole band, and it was amazing.
Yeah. I feel you. Even with the junior choir back home, when they sing well, I don't watch them. I don't even know what instruction I'm giving them, because I'm in the music. I'm hearing them, and I can see them on a stage, and the parts are coming together. So I feel you when you say that, Josh. That intro with the judge and with Andreas coming in chains and shackles.
Yeah.
Whose idea was it to come out like this? This is something that you guys have never done before.
No. Actually, that idea actually came before. We actually pieced the whole thing together. Just that intro, I would say the intro was successfully practiced on the night before Panorama. One time only, one full practice the night before Panorama. And then the next time we actually did the intro was
at Panorama.
The idea came
I
from...
felt so. I wanted to cry for Andres because it was like really. I mean, like it's a put on. I mean, it's an act, but it's like Esther was like just really manhandling Andres. Then like it's just an act, right? You know, and it was, and the judge was so austere, and he was just so, it's like whoa.
He was actually afraid of her, the first night. Like, she was being surreal, and he was
I can well imagine. I can well imagine.
And I think with the skit, the idea of the skit came about. We had to say kudos to Lidra Shiko. She really helped us out a lot in terms of the visual effect that the emotional aspect that we were able to draw out from the skit, and even talking about Andreas being chained up, and so I guess that really added to the appeal to the judges and the crowd's emotions, because Andreas, I could tell you this year's arrangement, it was really a trying time for him. I mean, you're talking about somebody who came out of nowhere in 2016, came and just took the judges by storm, took the island, took the crowd, took everybody by storm. This young man had never did an arrangement on his own.
Wow.
And in 2016, he came out, put together an arrangement, and completely blew everybody away.
Wow. And he's an accomplished musician outside of Pan as
Definitely.
well.
He plays Andreas, he drums in church. He used to be part of the choir back at Vieux Fort Comprehensive. He plays the keyboard. And right now he's getting, he wants to go into more recording. He wants to do some recording of his own music and stuff. But coming back to what I was saying about the emotional time, it was really a trying time for him, because in 2016, I cannot relate to you the level of criticism and the amount of criticism and the quality of the criticism that he got after that victory in 2016. And then for it to come out in 2017, everybody's saying, yeah, so you were the one who originated in 2016, right? So let's see you do it again, 2017. And we came in second, and again, the comments were relentless in their comments, like, again, bashing him, whether it be on social media or even, just casually among themselves, right? So 2018, you're talking about everybody's a year. So we got you last year. Let's see what you come in with now. Come. And everybody, just constantly just feeling that pressure, And again, goes back to his nature, him not wanting to let the band down. In a sense that, he doesn't want to make it look like it was just a fluke.
A fluke, right.
So, 2019, he was really determined and committed. He said, like, he told me, Josh, I want to come out with something bigger this year. And I want to prove a point. I have something to prove. And I think that's what led him to actually choosing this song. It was suggested by our manager. And then he took the idea and he just ran with it. It was like, when he went, the message Hill Black was actually singing about in that song. Coming out with a big victory.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, I think that really resonated with a lot of people, because once patrons realized that you guys were going to be playing Calypso Jail, they were like, yes, that's so right, because it's like the last 2 years you've been like, and then the whole thing was like, I hope they're not left in Calypso Jail or Pan Jail. And so it was. Let me tell you, the disappointment was palpable. Like you could cut it with a knife. How persons felt, and one of my concerns were that it would seep into your psyche, and that it would really bring you down, and that you guys would not be enthusiastic about as enthusiastic about performing or participating in Panorama. Well, that was taken away from the next time I saw you guys. Like I saw individual members, and you were still jazzed and still energized and whatever, and persons were saying, wow, and them cheering again, because every year you have them cheering again, and people were still saying, wow, them cheering again, them cheering really good, and it's really given you that mantra, and I think that mantra is here to stay, them cheering again, because regardless of whether you guys have placed third 3 years running, them cheering again, boy, like, wow, you're beating out seasoned panists. You're really almost there at the top, looking at these giants who've come out of different bands, the best of different bands, to come to form the Babano side. So you really babies, like the Davids looking up at this Goliath, and but I want to get your feeling for what it was like when you heard the scores, like the disparity in the scores. Like I thought that was I didn't get it. I knew it was going to be between the two of you, but I thought it would be like maybe 5 or 10 points, 15. Let's stretch it, but like 40 points, like.
I mean, it was. I mean, when they were calling out the scores, I was like, okay. I know they call out third, second, and first. From last year, they started doing that. And they were like, with our name, it's Caribbean Grains and it's Cots Babu now. So, like.
Right?
So So you started.
Yeah, so you're like, you're not sure. Yeah.
So you said Lucy like Pantime as said, and we will be a bit relieved.
Yeah. Oh, but Mary, I mean.
So, we're in the top two, and then they got 423. And when they called in second with 428, Caribbean Grains are still and I was like, okay, second again. I was like, personally, I was depressed.
I'm certain that it was.
I really enjoyed the performance, but
I wasn't so depressed until I heard the score disparity. That was what really got me, because I knew it was going to be because they played really well, and let's give that to them. They played well, but I just believe, and your arrangement was superior to their arrangement. So, but let's not dwell on that too much. I don't want to bring down the thing. So my biggest disappointment of the night, though, was the patrons. I mean, to me, this year had half the patrons of last year, and last year had half the patrons of the year before. And it seems to be going down the slippery slope. And we're talking a lot about culture, and we're talking about a lot about putting monies into culture and carnival. And every year it seems that the purse for carnival is increasing. However, I have noticed one thing. Pan is like the bastard child of carnival, because when you have a big event like Color Me Red on the same day as Panorama, and you're not really putting in all of that effort into Panorama, it begs the question, what is the thinking behind the events company to give Color Me Red that day? Well, I'm not sure who sanctions the days and who says, okay, this is this day that you have your event, and you get that day. But to have it on the same day as I think that was a big disservice. What do you guys think?
Honestly, I think it all boils down to respect. Respect for the art form, respect for just the pan players in general. I don't want to be biased and look at it from only our point and say, okay, yes, we feel like Events St. Lucia should not have another event on the night of Panorama.
Or at least not one of that stature.
Exactly. But again, looking at it from both sides, I also think that we pan people, we can give our art form some more respect. So looking at it, I personally feel like it's almost disrespectful to put pressure on pan people and say, yes, you need to make your event. You put in extreme pressure on the National Cibans Association and saying, hey, you need to make your event better. You need to draw the crowd. You need to do this. You need to do that. But then I also find it almost counteracting your intention when you have an event, like you said, of such stature on the same night as Panorama. And that hasn't been happening just recently. That it has been
it's been happening for a while, and I think somebody has to. And one of the things that Minister Belrose said this week is that they're going to have a post-mortem. It's going to be for 2 weeks. They're going to be hashing out. They're going to be dissecting and looking at what worked, what didn't work, why didn't it work, what could work, what to be implemented. And I think that's one of the things. You can't want to boost the art form and then have competing events. I'm not saying that you can't withstand the competition. Sure. And I know the naysayers out there are going to say, well, if you're a pan lover, you're going to... But yeah, like, think about it. Panorama, is a once a year, but then you can always get pan throughout the year, depending on whatever activity. But when you have an activity like a Color Me Red, where you have these artists coming in, that the hype is being built, and it's a private party. It's a private event, and you have all these artists coming in, and you want some of these artists that their music is hot. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. When you have Patrice Roberts, you have some of the big names in the industry performing on that night. And well, I can get to hear Labrie anytime, or I can get to hear Babano anytime, but I don't get to hear it's the competition. And I feel, compared to other years in the past, the hype is not there for Panorama. Like, you hardly hear, okay, Panorama is coming up to build the hype. Yeah, you guys bring your supporters every year, and I'm certain other bands bring their supporters as well, but it's not enough. You need to have more public engagement. One of the things that I noticed this year is that there was no stage for Pan. How was that? Like, that was surreal for me. It's like, I can't see you guys. Like, I couldn't see Nathan. I had to, identify where he was before so that I can focus there to see. Because you know that you have key players that you want to see because they bring the hype. But it was hard for people like me who were vertically challenged. You couldn't really see above the other people who were so much taller than you.
But then last year, the stage was higher, so it was even harder for you to see.
Well, no, because I could stay and look up. But when it's down and there are taller people in front of me, I can't see. You know what I mean? Like, I can't see because you guys were on the same level with us. So I couldn't see you guys because if there are taller people in front of me, I can't see. But if you're up, even if somebody's taller than me in front, I could still see because I'm looking up. You know, but now I'm kind of almost looking down. So that was a little bit of, didn't affect you guys at all? You preferred being down?
Personally, I preferred the lower level. I mean,
yeah?
From the...
Not where I was, because everybody's like, what? What's going on? It was really weird. But anyway, that's what matters. If it works for you guys, that's fine. What would you like to see if you were now talking to Minister Belrose or even St. Lucia or whomever is conducting the postmortem of Panorama or Carnival? What would you like to see moving forward for Pan?
For my part, I would definitely like to see a little more respect shown for the art form. Because, I mean, we really are trying to promote and to keep the art form alive, try to sustain it, you know. And we see that happening. We see that growth on the part of the still bands in terms of respect. We see their part. We see our part. I mean, this year we actually had more bands competing from previous years. We had 8 bands total. Sorry, 7 bands total. And you know, we were a bit elated to see that, you know, bands coming back into the competition, bands making their presence known. But we just want the matched, respect from on the part of the minister, and just to not necessarily the minister, but you know,
but from whomever is putting together the event. Yeah. I get you. Now, as you mentioned, bands coming in. In years past, there was a small bands segment and there was big band segment. Now you just have one, and all the bands are competing against each other.
Right.
In the last few years, you guys are considered a big band. How many is your band? How many people? How many members? How many players?
Actually, this year we had
the smallest.
One of the smallest bands we've had competing in years. This year we had about
50 something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
so
in past you've had how many at your max? How many have you played with?
We have played with 80 players.
Wow.
In 2000.
So you could be a big band.
Yes.
Right now, well, this year you were like somewhat of a medium band.
Yeah. You call it that, yeah.
But you're competing with big bands, and there are smaller bands like St. Lucy's, like Sulphur City.
Not Sufcan.
Sufcan, right? I always say, I don't know why it's Sulphur City. I guess the Sufra thing, but Sufcan, and you've got the Canaries. There's a Canaries band. Oh my God, like West Coast, yeah. So these are really small bands, and they're competing with you guys. I mean, they're looking at you as a giant. And I remember some of the comments were like, "Yeah, boy, Labrie, what they expect?" You know, while Labrie people were saying, "Yeah, Babano," and there were these St. Lucie saying, "But Labrie, what did they expect?" You know, like it's a big band. You know.
You know, sorry.
Well, personally for me, the size of your band shouldn't matter. If they're judging the size of your band, then it's not Panorama. They should be judging the quality of your music and how you execute the music. So,
but Vic, seriously, if you have a big band, you have all these different pans and you have a smaller side, you have 20 people, the
Yeah.
sound coming out of that, you could play your heart out and you could really give a good sound, but you're never going to compete with a Labrie or a Babino sound. I mean, one of the things that person said gave Babino the edge was the sound. It was louder. It was not necessarily crisper, but it traveled further. The age of your pans, does your age of your pans have anything to do with it?
Definitely. You're talking about steel drums, metal drums that you actually had to sync and actually shape into notes. So over years of having to beat these pans, 'cause
And
you
you're
actually
pounding those.
not necessarily playing, because you actually tune these pans with hammers and mallets. So I mean, of course, the constant flexing of the metal,
Right,
at some point in time, it will lose its elasticity.
right.
Right, and the notes, they in layman's terms, they will sound dull.
Right. Because you know it's one of the things that we never really think about. It is an instrument just like any other instrument
course,
that needs to be tuned just like any other instrument.
Treated
Not
the
just
same.
like any other instrument.
No, I mean when I say it has to be tuned
Tuned,
like
yeah.
any other instrument. But differently in that it takes up literally a beating to get it tuned.
Exactly.
And so you're actually distressing the pan while you're trying to maintain its sound.
Very long beat.
Kind of like a oxymoron
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah.
Like you gotta bit it
make
to
it
get
sound
that
good.
smooth sound, but by biting it, you're actually distressing it more.
Yeah, it takes a beating.
So you have to change your pan ever so often.
Yes, yes, and that's what makes I would say steel pan, and having to maintain steel pan, sorry, is something that's a bit costly, and that's what I mean. To the ordinary person, they wouldn't understand, right?
And that's the other thing.
That-
I like that you said that it's costly to maintain, because a lot of people think that pan is the instrument of the Malawi, and that because that's what they think. It's the pan is the instrument of the Malawi, and it's not an expensive instrument to learn, but a pan is pretty costly.
Very, very. I can tell you.
Very.
Just from playing in the sun.
Yeah,
No one would leave the
The
$1,000
yes,
guitar
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the sun.
Right.
But then they see it's just metal drums. What's
Yeah.
wrong with that? But
Yeah.
then the heat alone can cause the metal
You can
to
warp the metal.
Yeah. So then that would
just like a regular pan, like a pan, a cooking
Exactly.
pan.
if you untune your
Hot
pan
and cold,
one
yeah.
time. So then having to go and tune it back, and tuning is not cheap. So then
How often do you tune your pans?
As of now, we can only afford once a year.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I know, like when Avanel and Annalisa plays the pan, you're like, Miss, we can't put our pan out before you are ready. Like when you are ready, we put our pan out. We set up and everything, but we put our pan out when you are ready. As soon as that last note is done, them girls not concerned about refreshments. They're not concerned about drinking water. They're not concerned about anything except putting that pan away. And I really admire that. And I think I've seen that across the board with you guys. You really appreciate your pans and you really take good care of
having to
it.
replace a pan is not cheap.
Wow.
You have to take care of it like it's your child.
Right. So how often have you guys changed your pans?
We haven't been so much. I mean, some of them we've had from 2005,
Wow.
and it's still going on strong.
Wow.
But as of now, well, of late we have been concentrating on trying to build the band a little more,
Right.
and I think we've gotten to a point where we feel like we're okay with the numbers. But now, what we really want to focus on is actually recultivating new talent.
Right.
Right. So recently we just launched our junior band.
Yes, tell us about that.
Okay, so our junior band, youngest ranging from about 4, and the eldest about 12, right? And it's a project of the senior band. When I say senior, I mean like the players like us who
Yeah.
have been experienced, who have
For
been playing-
14 years.
So who have been playing with the band for a while, and even those who have played for Panorama. So what we do every Saturday, we work with them from about 1 to 2:30, and we just to try to cultivate new talent and to bring them up in the art form.
And that speaks to the rejuvenation of Pan. I mean, you guys,
Definitely.
you guys are doing your part in keeping Pan alive and ensuring that Pan doesn't die. At least in your corner of the world, or of St. Lucia, rather, keeping Pan alive in St. Lucia. So, and that's one of the things I think that's amazing, because you guys consistently play with young players. You don't go out there looking for veterans to play to win. It's not always about the winning. I mean, yes, it would be nice to win.
Sure.
Yes, it'd be nice to get that championship again. But it's about cultivating players and ensuring that there always is a crop of younger players, growing in the art form.
I find Library Stephen is bigger than Panorama.
Absolutely, I like that.
So yeah,
I like that.
I actually personally I love working with the young children. Recently, not recently, but we started doing percussion with the juniors,
And you'd love that, of course, because
every
that's your
Saturday-
thing.
Every other Saturday we switch it up. Will be one Saturday steel pan and the other Saturday percussion. And when it's my turn, I would be there on time, like ready to show them something. I mean, on the day they actually performed the piece they did on percussion, I showed them that. Try
Nice.
something.
Yay! And I like that. I think it's important for you not to remain stagnant and not to say, okay, I love drums and I play drums really well, and I'm going to stay in that little a corner that I've carved out for myself, but expanding that and teaching and ensuring, because I think the greatest form of flattery is imitation. So when they, like, you wanted to imitate him and the little ones are coming to imitate you and that kind of thing, I think you grow that way. I think that's amazing. So from speaking to you guys, I think I would say the general consensus is that Pan, especially at least in Labrie, has life. It's,
Sure.
you play for Panorama and you give it your all because it's the creme de la creme, but it's not the end all of it all.
Of course. I mean, just coming back to what you said about you seeing some of our players after Panorama and realizing that they were still very jazzed and all of that. Our players, to them, and what Library Step and what we try to do as a band, as a family, is not end it at Panorama. What we have maintained, something that we maintain in-house, is that we keep telling our players and we keep saying to ourselves that Library Steel Band, Caribbean Greens Library Steel Band, is not just a Panorama band, right? We're a family and we maintain that. And families don't only do competitions.
Right.
Families work together, families pray together, families play together, families help each other.
And have fun together.
Definitely. And then we maintain
And you'll
that.
have fun. I see the pictures. And sometimes my girls don't come to choir because they're having fun with Pan. So, yeah.
And that's what Library Steel Band, that's what we have been about, and that's what we continue to be about. Not just concerned about the ability to play, but we're concerned generally about the overall character, the overall person, the overall individual that you see. We try to shape them, we try to help everybody positively. We're talking from welfare for members
Nice.
to helping out with school fees. We do it all because at the end of the day, we understand that before you are a Library Steel Band player, you are first and foremost a human being, a young person trying to make it in life. And we do our utmost best as a Pan family to help each other out.
I like that.
So,
I really do.
the competition, second place at the competition doesn't necessarily mean it's the end. Of
Yeah,
the
you
world
get a
cup.
little, but it's not the end. It's not, life goes on.
True.
And what is most important, like you say, is the welfare of everybody else. It's the family, the togetherness. And I really like that because right now, you don't really get a lot of that. So for young people to, and kudos to Quill.
I mean,
Kudos to Miss Bartholomew. Like,
kudos isn't enough.
she is amazing well, now she has a son.
Yeah.
But to not have kids and to raise all these kids at such a young
Honestly.
age
For so long.
for so long,
And
it's amazing.
again, coming back to what you were saying about raising your own kids, she did it single-handedly for a while, And Miss Quill, I mean, I don't know, like Vic said, kudos would be an understatement to Miss Quill. Miss Quill, she has done what she has done with this band. I just wonder if there's any other young person who is willing to be able to do such, go to the extent that she has, to foster a group of young people. Because, I mean, Library Steel Band would not be what it is today
I hear
without
you.
the leadership of Miss Quill
I hear you. I hear you. And what I like about her is that she has allowed you guys to grow and to take leadership positions. Because when I call her and I say, Quill, I need to speak to Josh, speak to Andreas, she says, it's cool with her, but she can't make the decision for you guys. You guys have to grow in that leadership position and to make your own decisions and for the benefit of the band. And I really like that. Kudos to that.
And she has always maintained, in her own informal way of saying it. She would say, you think my kids are papi shows, man.
I can hear her saying that.
It's big things that run into leaders.
Yes, I
if
can
we
hear.
speak it informally, that's exactly how she would say it. And she would always ring that in our ears. I mean, from young, she'd always tell us, she is not raising us just to be followers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at first, they always say to be a great leader, you must be a great follower.
Mm-hmm.
And indeed, she instilled that in us. Like, growing up under Miss Quill, the way that we would observe the way she would behave, the way she would speak to us, the way she would move, what she would say, how she said it. And then she would always tell us we should not merely just try to imitate her, but always remember that she's doing all of this to raise leaders.
Leaders, right.
Cultivate leaders. And like you said, that's what we have here today. I mean, talking about, we have a band executive of about 6 of us now. And again, majority of the executive comprised of leaders. Sorry, not leaders, young people that were once players, right? We also have small committees within the band. Again, these committees headed by players. So she has always been about not just remaining, the sole big boss.
Yes, and the buck stops with her.
Right.
But she's shared it and delegated, and I think that's important. I think that's important. I want to go back to touch on something that you said earlier about the pans and maintaining the pans and tuning the pans. Do you guys get any support from government or from the association with regard to, like, if, say, for instance, if you wanted to bring in new pans, duty-free concessions and that kind of thing?
Yeah, in terms of support for the bands, they have brought in the subventions. Before, still bands used to get subventions, but it was a bit trying in the past years. But this year, thankfully, they came back with subventions, and every still band which played in Panorama this year received a subvention from the government.
Nice.
I mean, it may not be $100,000 or $50,000, but the little bit that they gave really did go a long way. I'm going to say that.
What are the prizes like this year? I honestly didn't stay to hear what the prizes were.
What, first place?
Yeah, what was it?
I don't think they announced the prize money, but
I think first place must have been about $50,000. Second would have been 40.
That's about what happened last year, or
Last year,
about that.
last
Yeah,
year.
last year. I didn't wait to hear that this year.
I don't think they announced it.
Oh, they didn't announce
They
it
don't
because
announce
last year they announced it, but this year I didn't wait. As soon as I heard Caribbean Grains and I know it wasn't first place, I just was like, and that was poor sportsmanship. And I always tell young people, it's not about winning all the time. You've got to always display great sportsmanship, because how you react after you've lost or after you've not won is just as important as how you act once you've won. You've always got to show grace under fire. And I was very disappointed. I didn't play. I've never played fan in my life. I had stopped. Panorama is something I've always liked, and I had stopped going to Panorama for years because it was just so long in between. I can't sit still. I can't stand still for like more than 5 minutes. It's like, oh my gosh, it's so long. So I'd stopped going, and I started going back after you guys started performing, started competing. But I just had enough. I was really, that arrangement was so great. So I do apologize to you guys that I didn't stay after, and anybody else that I didn't wait to socialize with after. But yeah, I felt that in my core. But it's important that you guys respect that, and that's one of the things you guys celebrate a second place like a first place.
Honestly,
you celebrate a second place like a first place, and I think that is wonderful. It's
Second
not
place
about
champions.
always winning. Yeah, like Rick would say, you gotta go for the goal. You gotta be the best. You gotta, it's about winning. You've got to win. But at the end of the day, how you take a second place is just as important, because it builds character.
that is very important, because I could tell you, even the Saturday after Panorama, like, you know, in the past 2 years, sorry to say, I mean, you probably feel a bit down, you know, hey, wow, you know, we really could have won, you know. And second place, I mean, we don't want to frown too much, but we can't smile too much. You see, you understand? But honestly, that Saturday morning when I got up, sorry, that Saturday afternoon. when I woke up on that Saturday, I did not feel like I lost anything.
Because you gave it your all. I felt it. I felt you gave it your all, and that's what's most important. You gave it your all. I mean, Andreas was like a beast towards the end of that performance. It was like breaking out of jail, and that little boy, I can't remember his name now, the one who was playing with his leg on the pan, and I was just like, whoa, like, where did that come from? And everybody was so hyped. You gave it your all. And with all of your enthusiasm, it didn't affect your playing. Like you were on point at every point. So that's good. We're going to open the lines. We're going to continue chatting. We're going to open the lines. The number to call, let's see if I remember, 451-9788, or you could send us your WhatsApp messages on 284-6536, or send us an email at laurajeppe@gmail.com. You may wish to call to offer congratulatory messages or well wishes or criticisms or suggestions. The lines are now open. Now, have you guys ever thought of, or do you do that, like afterwards, go back and look at your performance and the performance of the other bands and see what they did that was really good, that stood out, and try to not imitate but do better?
Definitely, we have our analyst right here. So did it the next. He was like the first person on, and he was like, we were like, we usually have like a small party for all our players after Panorama. And he came right on. He was like, guys, so I watched Panorama. And I was like,
instead of the party, yeah. We have a call? Do we have a call?
Yeah, hello?
Hello, good evening. You're on the air.
Yeah, what's up? Oh, I'd like to congratulate the guys, man. They did very well, eh?
Thank you.
Well, actually, I was supporting y'all, and, and actually, my son was playing for y'all. For, Library. I'd like to say congratulations. That's Vivian's father, though. Yeah, man, that's Vivian's dad. So congratulations. Well, actually, he's not there now to see y'all talking about the Panorama. But you know, I was a pan man myself. Yeah, I played many years for Diamond Steel. And to me, they should do a little more for the Panorama, because I thought it didn't have that hype. That it was too on a low par. You know, they should try and do a little more for the bands, like your band. So if you had a larger band, more members, but I guess last year you had more members. But you should have more members and more pans, try and invest in more pans, like the big beasts and them, the rocket beasts and all those beasts, you know, and it will come for you, man. Don't worry. Just pray and keep faith. And the young people you'll have there, keep them there. Find a way to keep them there. You understand? Okay? So, congratulations, man. Second place is like first place for you, because I see all win that Panorama this year. You know, I predicted that, but, you know, not all the time you predict something, it will happen. But congratulations, man. Good luck next time, yeah.
Awesome. Now, imagine, would you believe that one of our viewers is telling me that Babano is on another station, a competing station, and so they're being interviewed. So it's a great day for Pan, because Pan is, you know, on television this evening. But one of the things the host asked them was whether they travel after Panorama, do they travel throughout the year? And the answer was no. And for me, that's a big, like, what? Because you guys do a lot of, like last year, you participated in this Pan competition in England.
In London, yes.
Yeah, in London. And then you go to,
Last year was a crazy year for us.
Yeah.
It started off with Trinidad.
Yes.
Then.
Did you guys go to Trinidad this year?
Unfortunately.
No, we didn't. I mean, we have bigger fish to fry.
Of course. I mean.
Yeah. But last year was a crazy year. So we did Martinique last year. We did London. And also this year we're looking to head to London. So we have a contingent of players heading over to London next month, and Vic is one of them.
Nice.
Going.
Did you go last year?
I didn't go.
But you went, Josh.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, great, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. So that's the thing I like. I mean, it's like you said earlier, life for Labry Still Pan
Exactly.
goes beyond Panorama. You know, even before Panorama, and it goes on after Panorama. So it's like it's not the end of the world. Yeah, you didn't get first place, but you do other things. You recognized more because people ask for you. Because I remember last year or earlier this year, I got a request and like, how do I get these people? And you guys played at the sword turning ceremony
the airport.
for the airport. Yeah, so people are requesting you guys. We have another call online. Thank you for calling. You're on the air.
Hello, good evening to my lovely people. Feel so proud, sitting in my living room and watching you all. George and Vic, you're really making us proud. Congratulations again. You all are our winners and a lot of people's winners, but then we always tell you one has to win. So congratulations to Babono as well, but more congratulations to you all. But there's one thing I would like to mention, and I'm hoping that the technocrats and other persons, who fall under that umbrella are listening tonight. My disappointment is that this great disparity in the scores. And the reason why I'm saying that is very important. I mean, Laura, we've judged at many shows before pageantry, and it's very important that whatever you present to the master or mistress of ceremony is the final thing, that you do not give a score and then afterwards you have to go back, revisit it, and then the score is a lot less. Because I got to know that the scores were revisited and then only to find out there was a difference of about 20-something. And that's very important because you can break people's spirits. Because the night, we to a certain extent, we didn't really have a problem with Babono winning. I'll put it that way. One has to win. We all wanted Labry to win, but Babono won. But then the disparity in the scores, that was what was disappointing. So I'm hoping that this does not happen again for any competition. That is very important. You break people's spirits, and you're dealing with young people, who, you can't do that. So I'm saying that to the judges and to future judges, that these kinds of errors are not done, because shows like that are being watched, via different forms of social media and
all over the world.
Exactly what message, what signal are we sending out there? So that is very, very important. And to end, I just want to say, well, kudos to, Miss Quilba Felmi and Andreas and all of you. But one of the things that I'm really proud about as a Laborian, every child who has been or is a steel pan player in Labry is a child that has been molded. You are very respectful. You disciplined. You all are us. You all are representing us. And then you all are our future. You are making us proud. Continue. God bless. Good night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And it's true. It's something I always say. It's like, you could tell the difference. You could tell when you come in there, even though your personal backgrounds might be different, but when you get into that that fraternity, it's like it's a family. You have no choice but to change and adapt to what's going on.
I mean, definitely, because it would have to be, I would say, blamed. On Miss Quill, because that is the kind of environment that she had set from the get-go. Say, hey, yes, we're from different homes, with different persons, we have different problems facing at home, etc. But when we come to the Panyard, we learn, we love, and we respect every single player, regardless of what they are outside of Pan.
Awesome. Somebody here is congratulating you. They said they did not attend the Panorama competition. However, they did attend the concert at the Yacht Club, and we're very impressed. So congratulations.
Thank you.
on your placing. And that's important because you do play. And we were saying before we got this last caller that you do get invited, and people take note, especially I think the dynamic and everything of it, the dynamics of it is beyond just playing great pan. It's about youth empowerment. It's about elevating and representing and the enthusiasm for the art form. I think all of that comes to fore as to why you get invited to play not just in St. Lucia but outside of St. Lucia as well. We have another call online. Thank you for calling. You're on the air.
Laura, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Okay, let me tell St. Lucia. Labrie Stillpan is a family. I've been down to Labrie and I've enjoyed it. I usually make my trip there to enjoy them. And guys, don't give up. Because in Castries area, Pan, let's say, is almost dead. And I put it so. I raised in the Marsha area there, and let me tell you, both Diamond Still and North Stars are almost to the ground. And you all saw that. But you all have something there that is rich in nature. Let me shout out Cornwallis because you have no more CDs. Tell them, man, the money is in CDs. Take my advice as a marketing person. The money in Stillpan is in CDs. You all put out a CD. I know what songs you want to use on it. You can use the national anthem and everything. But put out a CD and sell it. Because you have people in the diaspora. You have people all over the world. And Labrie is well known for educated people. Put it so. You all know that. So you're now known for music. Something that is rich, Stillpan. So put it in. Get some way. Get some. I mean, Laura, I discuss with Laura Father all the time when he comes by me. We have this long discussion. I tell him, if he has influence, try and get his boys to put that in CD. Laura, you know what CD does, right?
Oh, yes.
Rights.
Yes,
Money coming in.
Yes. Absolutely.
Money coming in. And
absolutely.
Because if you watch the Trinidadians, every band, Desperados, all them have their CDs out, you know.
Yep.
And you have young school children because the expansion to occupy the mind. I watch the children there. I see them by the Panyan and I see like, wow, the parents dropping them off. It's truly I saw it a long time with Diamond Still before, but now, you know. But if Labrie, it's really a family. And I was like, whoa, these guys have something.
Yep.
And I'm one of the persons that come to Panorama. I don't care whatever show they have there. They're mine. For me, I'd burn all foreign show in Carnival.
I say so.
And I told them that. I told them
we
that
have sufficient acts. We have sufficient local.
We have enough talent now.
You can bring in one, two if you want to, because you know variety is the spice of life. But I think the ultimate disrespect is that show that is on the same night as Panorama.
But that show used to be on a Wednesday night and a Thursday night. You know?
Yes,
and they put it on a Friday night.
I mean, you cannibalizing Panorama, man. You cannibalizing something that is ours.
Panorama. The location was good because people can walk towards it.
Yep.
But when you do that, the prize money, I mean, grew, but where the audience?
Exactly.
People need to know that people are watching. It's
not going to be
That's
sustained.
An audience show. And that's what was lacking.
Exactly.
I look at the wrong, I see nobody. I say, wow, people haven't come to Panorama.
Yeah, man.
The place empty.
Yeah.
But brothers love the music. I love the arrangement.
Honestly.
And you're changing things. But the money is in CDs.
Absolutely.
Drop a CD. You know, if you drop a CD, it will sell around the world.
Absolutely.
God bless and do it again.
Thank you so much. Now, it's amazing that he says that because my partner and I were working on a project and it's a music lab. And so when you guys were talking earlier and you were saying that Andres is into a recording and that kind of thing, and I was like, whoa, like the stars are aligned. So I can't talk too much about it right now, but you guys, I'm coming to you guys because there's a wealth, a repository of talent just residing within you guys. So and you need an outlet, a further outlet. Yes, Pan is one thing, and like the caller was saying, you can now have to start recording because one of the things that really sells well is merchandise. And the greatest merchandise for a music man is a CD, a compilation. People will buy it.
And we like that you said that because actually we just finished recording content for CD. So that is coming
Nice.
to you hopefully by the end of the year, if not in the early of next year.
Absolutely.
But we have completed a process where we recorded all the songs that we're going to be putting out on a CD. Trust me, to the average buyer, is going to be something to look forward to.
Awesome. I'll be the first person to buy a CD. And I want it autographed.
No problem.
Now, Quill is just saying that Junior Panorama is coming up after 4 years sabbatical in November 24th. Will you guys be participating?
Not me.
I mean, not you guys, but your junior side, because you have a junior side now, right?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Great.
We're looking
We-
forward to it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I look forward to that.
And the thing we should be excited for, and I really am excited for, is that no senior arranger can arrange for a junior panorama.
Nice.
So a senior arranger, when I say senior arranger, I mean somebody who has arranged
Like
for
a veteran.
Senior, right. So in other words, what we're saying is Andreas won't be arranging.
Right.
So if we look to my right here,
Hey. So, you
not
know,
pointing any fingers, you know?
Yeah. You know, there are 4 of us right now in the
Yeah.
studio. Just 4.
Yeah.
And one of us,
Yeah.
you know.
Who happens to not be me.
Yeah. And the other 2 are not musical people at
Right.
all. You know, so yeah. Awesome. But I look forward. I'm excited. I am jazzed all over again. It's like Christmas all over. Junior Panorama coming up November 24th, and I look forward to great things from your junior side because you guys are amazing. I mean, I say you guys. I mean, your junior side is amazing. The whole team is amazing.
Sure.
But awesome. We're running out of time. Last thoughts? Anything that you think you want to leave out there? Any projects coming up? I know you said you guys are going over to England in about 2 weeks, which is awesome. You know, anything else?
I mean, I'd like to thank basically all the persons who have supported Labrie Stillpan. You know, it's deeply appreciated. We cannot thank you enough. I mean, it's a tough process, you know, trying to raise these kids, you know, to become better people. I mean, our motto, youth empowerment through music, and it's definitely been working, as you can see, through our last panorama. And I think it's a good thing to see young people thriving for music, and you should encourage your kids to be a part of a group that makes them become better people. I mean,
True.
if you look around, and especially in Labrie, I mean, I find there are so many young boys, especially, that are just sitting around the village and nothing to do. I mean, late hours.
Not nothing to do. They ain't jazz to do nothing. Because
But
you guys,
then-
I'm sure you guys are not
Something
sitting
positive.
around not doing anything. that
Something
you
positive.
always, yeah,
I mean, that
yeah.
would make you a better person. Something that would make you proud of yourself.
Mhm.
And I find that any group that encourages that kind of behavior, you should take the initiative and try and be part of that group. Whether it be Stillpan, the youth group, your choir,
True.
anything that makes you be a better person and that builds you up,
I agree.
right? And also, I'd like to thank our band manager, Mr. Eve. I mean,
Oh my God.
he has definitely put in a lot of work in the band, and I
mhm.
hope he continues. I mean,
Oh, I'm certain he'll continue as long as he has the breath of life. But he's gone for a few months.
Yes.
But he'll be back, and
he'll actually be joining us in England.
Okay, awesome, wonderful. Now, Josh, before I come back to you for your final words, somebody just said congratulations to the Labrie Stillpan. Hey, Jackie, arrangement presentation, awesome. Now, Yvonne, she called earlier and she says one of the things that she thinks that the Panorama organizers should do, the association should do, is that invite the local Calypsonians, since the performance piece is always a local calypso. Have the Calypsonian in question the person. Like, so when you guys did
Her Black.
Her Black, so have Her Black sing a verse and a chorus before, and I think it would build a hype because then you add in another dimension. One of the things I always meant to ask, I'm not sure, but I'm always thinking outside of the box as a marketer. I'm always thinking outside of the box. Branding are you guys only to play pan? Can you add other instruments as long as they don't overtake the flavor of the pan? So, for instance, violins, or if you have a singer, or that kind of thing, is that allowed?
Well, Panorama, I haven't read anything specific speaking to that where you cannot have like other instruments like you say, a violin or etc. But I guess, I mean, it has just been the norm.
But there's nothing that says that.
yeah.
I think you guys should look into
Look into
that.
that, yeah.
Because for the last couple of years, I have been toying. I can get these stupid, weird, out of the blue thoughts, and it's always far out because I go big or go home. I'm not American, but I sometimes subscribe to that mentality: go big or go home. And I've been thinking there are a few things that have been toying in my head, twirling, and they just don't go away. Like, you have that idea and it's just nagging and just won't go away. So find out about that, and I'll share that with you privately because we don't want them to know what we're doing, right? So yes, Josh, what are your final thoughts?
My final, I just want to say, just echo a message similar to that of Vic. We just want to say thank you so much to our supporters, our parents, most especially, and the general public for rallying behind Labrador Steel Pan and just being a part. Because just by becoming a supporter of Labrador Steel Pan, you automatically become part of Caribbean Grains Labrador Steel Pan and the family that we have together. I want to say a special thank you to our sponsor, Caribbean Grains. They have been doing much work with us. And I think that we have bigger things to come with them. I want to say a special thank you to Labway Promotions, the umbrella body that we are under, Labrador Steel Pan. The Labrador Steel Pan project is under. I want to say a special thank you to the Labrador Steel Pan executive, Miss Quill, especially Mr. Renard, who has been working tirelessly with the band. But above all, I really want to say a big thank you to my Labrador Steel Pan players. Without them, trust me, we would not have a Labrador Steel Pan. We would not be where we are today. We would definitely not be doing the things that we are doing without these players that we can call brothers and sisters in that band.
Awesome. Well said. And I hope the next time you come through is when you're promoting, because there's a slot open just for you when you guys are promoting your CD, because I think it's important. I always try to leave, and I would cancel or defer another show just to have young people, and I think it's amazing what you guys are doing. So I will leave a slot open whenever the CD comes out, as long as it's not during Christmas after the 13th, because we're closed for the season. But awesome, well said. I really love it, and we have a few things to talk about coming up. So I'll be giving you guys Josh, you're supposed to be leaving. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Guys, this is where we end. But before we do, I'm always coming across people who love me and want me to give them a shout, and I'm always promising to do the shout outs, but I keep forgetting. I guess I'm getting older, but I keep forgetting. So to all of those people that I have promised over the years and over the months that I'm going to give a shout out and I haven't, hey to you guys, I can't remember your names right now. It's not coming to me. But I promise I will look for all the little pieces of paper that I've written your names on and stick them in my phone and carry it, because I'm always carrying my phone, and carry it with me to studio when I'm coming, like I did with this person. I want to say hello to Denise of San Francisco, whose sister, Lucretia Edwardson of Goodlands, is always watching every Tuesday. I want to say hello to Lucretia. Your sister. I think by now you should have gotten the photo. We took a photo just for you to send to you because you weren't there. I just want to say hi and thank you for watching, and keep watching. I want to say hello to Annalisa and Avonel, who are my kids as well as Quill's kids and Joshua's kids. Thank you so much for you guys being who you are, especially Annalisa, such a special little girl. Keep doing what you're doing. And I hope the next time you come, next time Josh comes, that you will be in the chair with Josh, because it's time you bring a girl, because this is 2 years in a row, 2 boys. Nah, we want a girl and a boy, or a girl, a male and a female on my bench, on my chair next time you come around. Anything else? Yeah. Thank you for watching, guys. Until next week. Adieu. You get